start off introducing the FLGC, and then we will go ahead and get started with our meeting as usual. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is excited and ready for another exciting meeting at the Future Leaders Gavel Club. My name is Claire, and it is an honor to be your club president, and I would like to officially call this meeting to order. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to all of our guests and members as usual, and hope everyone has a great time during today's meeting. The Future Leaders Gavel Club is a Toastmasters club open to middle and high school students, in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Each meeting has 3 parts. First is the prepared speech section, second, a table topic section, and finally, the evaluation section. And before I begin today's meeting, I am excited to announce that next Wednesday, on February 26th, we will have some workshop speakers here in our club at this time, which will be super exciting. And let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Okay, great, wonderful. So this is our workshop for next Wednesday. Again, that is February the 26th. And I'm super excited to present to you. We will not only have one speaker, but we will actually have 2 speakers for next week's meeting. And this workshop is centered, it's related to medicine/science. And that is because I know medicine is a very popular field, especially science and STEM. And I know we also have members who are interested in the field or potentially interested in the field, as well as we have seniors who will be graduating and are interested in this field as well. So this is open for everyone to learn from. We have Isabella Xu and Kevin Huang, who are both current MD, PhD students at the Washington University in St. Louis School of Medicine. And just for some context, both of them are part of a program called the MSTP program. And essentially, what this program is, it is a medical MD PhD program at WashU, which is very selective and helps to foster the next generation of medical leaders. And as you see in the flyer, both of them, yes, are current medical students at WashU. Isabella graduated from WashU, and Kevin graduated from UPenn. So both of them are recent graduates. So they will not only answer questions related to medicine, but they will also help to answer any of your guys' questions related to high school or any other general advice that you all have. So I strongly encourage you all to maybe come with some prepared questions or just speak as you wish during the meeting. And I'm sure the workshop will be very fun. Additionally, I encourage everyone to invite all of your friends and family if they are interested in this workshop. That way, since this is a great opportunity, they can learn a lot from the workshop as well. And just to sum that up, again, both of them are current WashU students, but they are happy to answer any questions you guys have related to high school and college. And Washington University in St. Louis, its medical school is, I believe, number 2 in NIH funding for research. So both of them can provide a lot of insights if you guys are interested. Okay, with that being said, I would also like to just mention that today, originally, our speaker number 2 was Alex. Since he's not here this meeting, we will just have a very brief kind of mock interview session. since I have mentioned it before. And this will be quite similar to a table topic section. Actually, it will be quite short, but it will just be some mock interviews with a twist, which I'll mention later on. And with that being said, I would like to pass it on to Toastmaster Angelina. Angelina, take it away.
Thank you, Claire. I'm very excited for the workshop next week, and it sounds like a great opportunity. So let's begin with introducing functionaries. So firstly, Caleb, could you tell us about the all counters report?
The all counter, I will note words and sounds used as a crutch or pause filler word by anyone who speaks during the meeting. Words may be inappropriate interjections such as and, well, but, so, you know. Sounds may be I'll be noting all these sounds down and will give my report at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Caleb. Next, Claire, could you tell us about the grammarian's report?
Thank you, Angelina. As the grammarian, I will listen for the word of the day, which is acumen. Acumen means the ability to make good judgments and quick decisions. For example, her business and political acumen helped her win the election. I encourage anyone speaking during any part of the meeting to use it. And throughout the meeting, I will listen to everyone's word usage and write down any awkward use or misuse of the language. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Claire. Next, Janya, could you tell us about the timers rule?
Thank you, Angelina. As the timer, I will monitor time for each speaker. Throughout the meeting, I will listen carefully to the program participant and signal them using a green background for the minimum time required, a yellow background for the expected time, and a red background for the maximum time. Thank you, and back to Angelina.
Thank you, Janya. Now we will start off with our first speech, which will be given by Rachel. And the title of her speech is Hola, ni hao, and hello. Hola, ni hao, and hello, Rachel.
Thank you, Toastmaster Angelina. Hola, ni hao. Good evening, future leaders. Did anyone know I was trilingual? Okay, I know some of you do. Well, yes, I am trilingual, actually, and I have been for a little over a decade now. How have I managed to speak 3 languages for the past 12 years? Renaissance School International, that's how. When I was 5 years old and out of preschool, my mom was looking for a good school to send me to, and somehow she found out about Renaissance School International. The school was very, very new when I started going. My first year was the second year of the school. The school has been a big part of my life for almost as long as I can remember, and the languages I learned there are a big part of my identity. Learning languages is always very difficult at first, and I remember how much I struggled in the beginning, especially with Chinese. Later on, as I learned more, I began to enjoy it more, a lot more. I remember I liked to practice Spanish and Chinese not only at school, but outside of school. I even look back at some of the old stories I used to write at that age, and some of them are in Spanish or Chinese. And I love talking to other students, and I like talking to the teachers in different languages, and I formed some pretty strong bonds with Spanish and Chinese teachers. And I remember teaching my mom a lot of Chinese words on the way home from school sometimes. Eventually, I even started looking for Chinese and Spanish versions of all the TV shows and movies I love. I still do that pretty frequently. I'm even able to think in my head in Spanish or Chinese. Usually when people around me are using the language, either that or I'm just thinking in a different language for fun. Sometimes I'll even tell myself a story in my head, but not in English. Usually it's in Chinese if it's not in English. It helped to learn languages at a very young age, and I'm glad I learned them when I did because later in life it's a lot harder to pick up on a language. Languages can be incredibly challenging, and sometimes it can be nerve-wracking to try speaking a new language in front of other people. And writing essays, yikes, terrible. But despite the challenges, languages are a very important skill to have, and they're fun too. A lot of people at my school, unfortunately, don't agree, but that's their problem. I love languages. Languages open up a lot of opportunities that people who only speak English wouldn't have. You're able to communicate with other people, and it is very enjoyable to converse with someone in their native tongue because you learned their language. Language classes also help you understand other cultures even more. And who doesn't love learning about other cultures? Additionally, knowing other languages can help make you smarter in general, and they help you learn other subjects in school too. One thing I love to do is surprise people with my languages. I mean, look at me. People wouldn't look at me and think, oh, I think she speaks Mandarin, Chinese, and Spanish. So I've had a little fun with that over the years. I was 13 years old, not too long after I joined this club, and I was in Costco. And a Chinese woman said something pretty rude about me to her daughter, thinking I wouldn't know what she said. Oh, but I did. So my mom and I tracked that lady down, and I told her off in her native tongue. People still laugh about it to this day, and it's been over 4 years. Surprising people with language skills is not only a good way to communicate and make friends, it's also a good way to tell people off. Additionally, I have some fond memories related to my languages. Too many to list all in one speech, but I will share my favorites. When I was in third grade, I didn't have that many friends in my class. I was a bit lonely. I got made fun of. I was, the oddball. I still think of myself that way, but that was okay because there was a foreign exchange student from China who joined our class for a few months, and her name was Jessica, and we were the best of friends. We were always together talking in Chinese, playing games where we only spoke Chinese, and not only did it strengthen my language skills, I was happy to be able to make a friend, from a different country. I was very sad when she left, but I'm glad I was able to form such a strong bond with someone from a different country. Additionally, when I lived in Arizona and I was a bit younger, I befriended a 4-year-old Chinese girl named Rita who spoke no English at all, and we would just make up these stories together about dogs and birds and snails and stuff. And that was pretty special. A more recent favorite memory of mine in regards to languages are the plays that my classmates and I have written in Spanish and Chinese. There's one play in particular that just happened 2 short months ago. We wrote it in Chinese, and it was honestly the best play ever. The play was titled The Downfall of King Gai, or in Chinese, Gai Guo Wang de Mia Wang. I played the evil and murderous wife of the titular character, Gai Guowang, and my Chinese teacher is also quite the actor, and he really gave me a lot of tips for acting in a Chinese play. My favorite line in the play is when I yelled at the main character and said, "Oh, Tiana, no, Jong." In case any of you are wondering, that means coward. That was a very wonderful experience, and I got to mix my interests with my languages. I'm really going to miss my school, and I won't be going there next year. It'll be a lot harder to keep up my languages, but it's a part of me I don't want to lose. If any of you practice a language, don't use it. I mean, don't lose it, use it. Sorry. You have to retain your language acumen because not only will it help you understand more cultures and open up more opportunities, there's the opportunity to connect with people from a different culture, and perhaps that's the best part of all. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel, for that speak on languages. I know a lot of us speak two languages here as well, so a lot of us can relate to your speech. Next, we will have the mock interviews hosted by Claire.
Thank you so much, Angelina. So this section of the meeting, it won't last too long since we have table topics right after, but it's mock interviews, but with a twist. So essentially, my role is like an interviewer, and I will ask the question, and then you all are like the pretend applicants. So you will answer a question, but with a funny twist. So for example, I will start off with our first question just to show you an example of what the twist would be. The first generic question as an interviewer I would ask is, tell me about yourself. And the twist is, of course, you'll answer the question, but you will answer it as if you are a superhero explaining your origin story. So again, I will repeat that. The question is, tell me about yourself. And the twist is, answer this question as if you are a superhero explaining your origin story. And this first question goes to Ethan. Ethan, take it away.
Oh, actually, I think this is probably my superpower, being able to tell when I'm about to be asked a question, because I predicted 30 seconds before you actually called on me that I would be the one to answer this question. So you may be wondering how I came up with how I obtained this superpower. Many people have in the past hypothesized the existence of the third eye or the sixth sense, but actually I have the ethos, I have this power, so I am here to personally tell you that those hypotheses are wrong. They are false. Do not listen to them. In fact, my origin story is that I'm able to predict when people are about to ask me questions or request something of me. Because you see, the human body works in very mysterious ways through mechanisms that we are not yet very well able to study or understand. When when a person is about to make a request, they radiate an hitherto unknown form of radiation that I propose to be called the request potential, in analogy to the electric action potential that are generated by the nervous system prior to muscle contractions. This request potential is radiated from all humans whenever they are about to ask somebody else to do something. And I have been blessed with the lucky ability to detect this request potential. Now, it must have just been lucky genetics on my end that I gained this superpower, but I have it, and that's cool, I guess. Although I will say that much more research is needed to understand the nature of the request potential and how it is generated, because so far all we know is that it is a hitherto uncharacterized form of radiation. It's not sound, it's not electromagnetic in nature, it's completely new to physics. So definitely some more study is needed. Back to you, Claire.
Wow, thank you, Ethan. I am certainly impressed by your acumen in thinking on your feet and delivering such a superhero response. Okay, the next question goes to Eliana. Eliana, if you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why? And the twist is that your answer, it's a random twist, but your answer must include the word unicorn. Eliana, take it away.
If I could have dinner with any historical figure, I would choose a storyteller from back then, the one who first created the unicorn. First, I would ask them how they thought of that and how they got that idea. And then I would ask for what the original story was, because many other stories have come up since then. And that would be very interesting because I like unicorns, so it would be good to find out how they were first created and how their story was first made. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Eliana. My next question goes to Janya. Janya, the question is, what is one word that best describes you? But the twist is, you must spell the word out and explain what each letter represents to you. For example, if the word you chose was driven, then you could say D means you're maybe determined to succeed, and R is like resilience. But whatever it means to you, you can choose your own word. Take it away, John.
Wait, okay. So do I describe every single word? I mean, letter in it? Uh, Tough one. Okay. If I would choose a word to describe myself, it's a tough choice, but I think I would choose moving, in the sense what ever since I was small, I just thought about the phrase, when will the day get over and when will I go home? And every time I just felt like I just want the day to get over and I want to move on to the next day. So I would choose moving. And this M would be moving. O would be over all of the stuff. I would just want the day to end. V would be uh um I have no V would be, I am not sure about that. And I would love for this day to get over. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Janya. And just a couple more questions before the table topic section. The next question is, this one goes to William. What is a challenge you have faced and how did you overcome it? But the twist is, you must answer dramatically like it is a soap opera. Take it away, William.
Thank you for that question, my dear interviewer. One of the biggest challenges that I have ever faced in my entire lifetime was participating in our school's inaugural cross-country team. Now, as some of you may have known from my past speeches, I love to run, but I'm not really the fastest runner. On the first day of practice, I show up in a well-fitting shirt and shorts. It's the peak of summer now, and the sun shines brightly in the sky. I'm already starting to sweat from both anticipation and the temperatures. The starting pistol goes off. I run and I run, but I see the neon uniforms of my teammates rushing forward, and I'm left behind in a cloud of dust. I don't know what to say, and I don't know what to do. So I just keep on running. But as I found out, there's nothing that you can really be excellent at if you just try it one time. Practice makes progress. So what I did to overcome this challenge was that I just kept running. And eventually, I became one of the not as slow runners on the cross-country team. Thank you, and back to you, Claire.
Thank you so much, William, for a wonderfully dramatic response. All right, and then with that being said, I would like to pass it back. And in the future, we can definitely have more mock interviews like this, but they will probably be a little bit longer for everyone to participate. And with that being said, I would like to pass it on to Eliana, who is hosting our table topic session. Eliana, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Claire. For this table topic session, we will be playing Would You Rather. So, our first question is, would you rather be an only child or have 10 siblings, and why? I will give this question to Devin.
I will definitely choose to be an only child because I am an only child and think I'm well suited and fits into to be an only child. This is because my mom once, when I'm young, I once asked my mom like why I don't got siblings. And then my mom told me that, oh, because I want to give all my love to only you and something like that. And I mean, it's, as I'm young, so it's really going into me deep. And I saw this is like a really important reason and I love it. So for sure, I want to be an only child. And why I don't want to have 10 siblings. This is because, young siblings is always like naughty, especially some boys, they're always naughty and then they always ruin what you're doing and then sometimes bark at you and like unpolitely. And then so I really hate that. As a result, I definitely don't want for younger siblings. And I also don't want any older siblings because sometimes older siblings will do like, bro, you don't know this? It's so easy. But the truth is, when they're young, they might be stuck in this question for years also. So I mean, yeah, I'll stick with I love to be the only child. And back to you, Eliana.
Thank you, Devin. And I definitely agree with you about the naughty younger siblings part. Next question. Would you rather be 3 hours early to everything you go to or 15 minutes late? This question will go to Hillary.
Sorry, give me a moment. Okay. Given a choice between always being 3 hours early or 15 minutes late, I would choose to be 15 minutes late. First of all, there is a smaller time difference because if I was 3 hours early, I have to wait for 3 hours, but 15 minutes late is a lot less compared to that. Second, I believe I can cheat the system. I can always schedule my clock to be 15 minutes ahead of time. So when I become quote unquote 15 minutes late, I'll actually arrive perfectly on time. This way, uh, I can still have my normal schedule, and in case my system fails, there's still less of a time difference. Thank you, and back to you, Eliana.
Thank you, Hillary, and I'm sure that your clock trick will work. Now the next question, would you rather lose your sight or your long-term memories? This question is for Caleb.
Would I rather lose my sight or my long-term memory? I think that memory is the most important part of everyone's existence. Sight is something that comes and goes. In fact, if you look at it at a purely biological level, it's just all rods and cones in your eyes. Yet memories have a much deeper connection to everyone's personal lives. Sight is just the present light waves bouncing off of other objects, yet memories will stay with you forever. Just like Devin just shared with us that he remembers how his mom told him that she wanted him to receive all the love that she had. That is a memory, and it is a memory because Devin can still recall it to this day. And even if Devin wasn't able to see, didn't have sight at that moment, he would still, I am sure, remember that. And therefore, I am convinced that memory will far, far, far be worth much more than sight. In fact, those who are blind still live very good lives, and it is because they still have memory. And memory is not limited to your eyes. You still have your audio senses, you still have your sensory senses, for example, touch, taste. All of those are still memories. And memory is therefore still much more important than sight. Therefore, if I had to choose between sight and memory, I would surely choose to keep my memory. Thank you, and back to you, Eliana.
Thank you, Caleb, for that amazing response. I definitely agree with you. Now for the next question. Would you rather each day last for 50 hours or each day lasts only 6 hours? This question will be for Janya.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get the question.
Oh, that's fine. Would you rather each day last for 50 hours or each day last only 6 hours?
Wait, do you say steak? Is that a food item? It's just a, I'm sorry, I'm not sure about what that is.
Day. Like,
Oh, each day. I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
that's fine.
So I would eat each day and last for 50 hours, then last for 6 hours. Because sometimes eating makes me feel bored. I mean, I get it. Food is energy and we need food to survive every day. But sometimes it takes so much time for me to eat because I don't know why, but I just eat so slow that my dad has to come and then be like, "Why are you still eating?" So it takes me so much time and it's just like I have nothing else to do after eating and I feel so drowsy that I have to sleep. So I'd rather eat one day and last for 50 hours than for 6 hours. Thank you, and back to you, Lillian.
Thank you, Janya, for your response. Now for the next question. Would you rather have the ability to see one day into the future or 100 years into the future? This question is for Claire.
If I were to choose between seeing one day into the future or seeing 100, did you say years into the future? I would choose on the condition that I can use this several times repeatedly. I would most likely choose seeing one day into the future because that means every single day I can see one day into the future. And if today I see one day into the future and then I see another day into the future today, that's already 2 days into the future. So if I compound seeing the next day and then the next day and then the next day, eventually I will also be able to see 100 years into the future. So I will use the power of seeing one day into the future to see years and trillions of years into the future. Thank you, and back to you, Eliana.
Thank you, Claire. You'll definitely use your power well you'll use it to the best advantage and see lots of days into the future. Now, for the next question, would you rather be able to hear every good thing someone thinks about you or every bad thing someone thinks about you? This question is for Michelle.
Can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Okay. If I could choose between hearing everything good about me or everything bad about me, thought or said by someone, I would choose the good because honestly, my little weak, you see that little, you see this? This is like my weak little fragile ego. One bad comment and it's broken. Rest in peace, me. You'll never see me out of my house ever again if I hear one negative comment about me that isn't from my friends. I will literally start crying and pouring in the freaking rain because of my ego. But basically also because imagine hearing someone just says, that person's disgusting. Like about yourself, even though you think you're pretty clean. Then you're gonna be rethinking your choices too, right? But imagine that you hear, oh, that person's really nice and I think they're cool. Then yeah, ego boost. Yay. But anyways, back to you, Eliana.
Thank you, Michelle. Next question. Hmm, would you rather suddenly become 10 years younger than you already are or 10 years older? This question is for William.
If I would rather, if I had this decision to pick the opportunity to become 10 years younger than myself today, or to speed forward the hands of the clock and land as a 27-year-old, I would choose to dial back the hands of time and become a 7-year-old once again. Here's my rationale. I don't know how this time machine would work in specific. I don't know if it would leave me with the exact same skill set that I have in the present day, or if all of that would be wiped and I'd have to start anew. Looking back at my 17 years of life to this present day, I know that I have made mistakes, and I think making mistakes is a usual process of life. We learn from our mistakes, and we try not to repeat them over again. So what if I could dial back the hands of time, become a 7-year-old again, and thereby avoid making the same mistakes that I have made? Becoming a 7-year-old once again will also give me a splendid opportunity to become better at the things that I am good at. While I have my own hobbies, and I'm sure all of you fellow future leaders do, there's always that nagging feeling in my ego that I'm not good enough at something. So why not have 10 more years to improve on those things? Now, my rationale for not going 10 years into the future is that 10 years into the future is way too much uncertainty. I don't know what will happen in the next 10 years. What will I be doing with my life in 10 years? I don't know. And I don't want to land in some hot water because I chose to spin forward the hands of time instead. So I'll stick to the safer option, go back 10 years, relive these 10 years, avoid making the same mistakes, and become a better version of myself. Thank you, and back to you, Table Topics Master Eliana.
Thank you so much, William, for that great and honest response. Now that's the end of our table topics, so I'll pass control back to William for the general evaluation.
Thank you, Table Topics Master Eliana. Here commences our evaluation portion of our meeting tonight. I'd first like to acknowledge our one and only speech evaluator for tonight's meeting, who is Ethan. Ethan will be evaluating our speech by Rachel.
Thank you, General Evaluator William. You look at my remarks here. I've decided to ditch the 1 through 5 format today because, to be honest with you, it's quite outdated. And instead, tell everybody what I thought Rachel did really well. First of all, I would like everybody to acknowledge Rachel's use of an engaging story, which I thought it was very interesting to listen to, even though I cannot relate to the experience of being, even though I cannot directly relate to the experience of being trilingual, her story still sounded engaging. That is the mark of a good speaker. She also, I noticed, utilized organization in chronological order to divide her speech into sections, as well as good eye contact. Those are some of the outstanding aspects of her speech that I saw. In fact, probably the only major thing that I would suggest Rachel challenge herself on is to incorporate more hand gestures into her speech, as I did not see too many of them, and I thought her speech was somewhat lacking in the usage of hand gestures. But all in all, her speech was of the type. Her speech, I'm sure you can all agree with me, is the type that's relatable, even though the subject is not. If you get my drift. So, great job, and back to you, General Evaluator William.
Thank you so much, Evaluator Ethan, for the insightful advice. Let's now move on to our all counter for tonight, Caleb.
Thank you, William, for the Al Counter report of today. I would like to mention that Angelina had no crutch words throughout her Toastmastering of tonight's meeting. Then for our first speaker 1, I did not catch any crutch words. For mock interview master, Claire, I did not catch any crutch words during that period. Our first speaker of the mock interview, Ethan, I did not catch any crutch words. For our second speaker, Eliana, I only caught one one but, and one and. For our speaker 3, Janya, I only caught 2 ums and 1 but. For our speaker 4, William, I did not catch any crutch words. Now for our table topics master, Eliana, I did not catch any crutch words. Then for table topic speaker 1, Devin, I caught 3 ands and 3 so's. However, note that these were together. So you would say and so, and so, and so. So simply try to pause and those words will naturally start to disappear from your vocabulary. Next for Hillary, I did not catch anything. For my table topic response, I wasn't able to catch anything. For Janya's response, I caught 1 For Claire's response, I did not catch anything. For Michelle, William, I did not catch anything. And lastly, for our general evaluator, William, and for our first evaluator, Ethan, I did not catch anything. So it is clear and evident that everyone has been minimizing their use of crutch words, and I hope that everyone continues using this acumen of minimizing their crutch words to improve their day-to-day public speaking. Thank you, and back to you, William.
Thank you, Caleb, for your impressive acumen when it comes to delivering these counting reports. Moving on to our grammarian, who is Claire.
Thank you so much, William. Starting off with speaker 1, Rachel, I loved your speech and how you used authentic phrases like strong bonds in an authentic speech. And you had great transition words. And one thing I would suggest is using overall maybe some more specific adjectives, such as replacing smarter with something more specific. And that way we'll be able to further understand what you want to convey. And then for table topics, starting off with Devin, I loved your storytelling skills. Again, maybe use some more specific adjectives, pretty much the same advice to share more about your specific feelings. And then next off is Hillary. I liked your phrase, cheat the system. That was a nice transition to some innovative ideas. And then Caleb, I liked how you said deeper connection to everyone's personal lives, as well as other great insights about weighing the importance of the 2 options. And then next for Janya, I loved how you used descriptive words like drowsy. Maybe instead of saying, I was so bored or something like that, you can say, each day drilled into my soul, but it doesn't have to be that dramatic. Can just be anything more specific. And then as for Michelle, I liked how you guided our thoughts using imagine. And then for William, I like the phrase dial back the hands of time using the metaphor of a clock. And I liked how you used the idiom, I don't want to land in some hot water. And then overall, I believe I used the word acumen once, and I just heard Caleb use it once as well. And let me know if I missed anyone's word usage. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, grammarian Claire. And now for our timers report by Janya.
Thank you, William. So coming to the speaker, starting with the speakers. Rachel had 8 minutes and 58 seconds, which is quite overtime, but it was a great speech. As we didn't have a second speaker, we had the mock interviews. And in the mock interviews, Ethan had 3 minutes and 6 seconds. Eliana had 48 seconds. I had 1 minute, 35 seconds. William had 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Coming to the table topics, I'm so sorry. Devine had 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Hillary had 55 seconds. Caleb had 1 minute 55 seconds. Rachel had 1 minute 9 seconds. I'm so sorry. Claire had 1 minute 9 seconds. Michelle had 1 minute 8 seconds. William had 2 minutes 33 seconds. And we had only one evaluation, right? If I'm not wrong, by Ethan. And that was 1 minute and 42 seconds. And I'm sorry if I missed a few. It's just everything has been clumsy today. And I think I messed up a little on the back on my backgrounds too. I'll try to improve for my next time. Thank you, and back to you, William.
Thank you so much for the thought-conducing timer report from you, Janya, tonight. Now, I will cap off our evaluation portion of tonight's meeting with just a few final comments. I thought that the meeting in general proceeded without any hitch at all, and I think President Claire did a great job of seamlessly transitioning from the problem at hand, which was a minor hiccup in attendance, and replaced that with a mock interview session. I thought that was very innovative and creative. Aside from that comment, I'd also like to provide some good feedback for our functionaries tonight. I'll start with Ethan. I really like how you pointed out the engaging story. And that's something that resonated with a lot of us, I think. And I think that you also don't necessarily need to state in the beginning of your evaluation that you're not going with the 1 to 5 system, because I think that as we've become more experienced as Gaveliers, we've automatically kind of shifted away from the 1 to 5 system, because there's just a lot of things to focus on in an evaluation. But given you have only so much time, you can only actually focus on a few. So you don't need to mention that in the beginning of the speech, but I thought you did a good job in your evaluation regardless. In terms of our counter, Caleb and Grammarian Claire, I thought you guys did good jobs with pointing out good uses of grammar, some areas of improvement. And for Caleb, of course, the count, the counts of crutch words. And I also resonate with the fact that we're all improving in our grammar and our resistance against the ers. But I would also recommend, if you're able to integrate some more advice for improvement into your reports. I know the reports are pretty short. That would be even better. So Caleb, I think you did a good job when I forget who you were referencing, but you said that someone had and so's, and they might want to watch out for that crutch conjunction in general. Moving on to our timer, Janya. Janya, I think you still did a great job timing. Nonetheless, I think that one of the things that you can best challenge yourself to improve as timer for next time is sometimes it's hard to keep track of who is being evaluated for what speech. So it would be a good idea if after each time that you say out loud, you could say whether this is under time or in the middle of the allotted time or overtime for that specific person. But those are all of my comments. I think this was a great meeting and a great evaluation portion, and I'd like to hand control of the meeting back to Claire, President Claire, pardon.
Thank you so much, William, for your thorough general evaluation. And next off, I would just want to say thank you so much, everyone, for attending today's meeting as usual. And what I'm going to do is send the workshop flyer in the chat. That way, let me see if it sends. Okay, I think it's loading. So it should have sent through. So let me know if it didn't, but you guys can save the workshop flyer. That way you can share it with your friends and or your family if you know anyone who is interested to learn more about this workshop or in general advice related to high school/college. And with that being said, As usual, I would like to mention that if you have any suggestions or comments, you can always let us know during this part of the meeting or anytime. And you can also submit the form that is found in the agenda. Addition to that, does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, with that being said, I would like to adjourn tonight's meeting slightly early at, I believe, 6:56 p.m. Pacific time. And with that being said, if no one else has any questions or comments, we will see you all next Wednesday for the workshop. Oh, and one more thing, William, could you stay behind to help with the FLGC email?